Wagwan CEOs, my name is Derek. Leo nimeleta hapa tax doctor. Mnakumbuka tax doctor? So, manze, we're going to have another session, and let me tell you something, guys. Deadline imefika. It's June. End of June, it's over. So let's just tax doctor introduce hapa.
It's me again, I'm Mark Nero, your tax doctor. It's been a minute though, but your deadline imekaribia, so I'm urging you guys, let's file our tax returns.
Nice, manze. So, Mr. Mark,
yeah.
Habari yako?
Niko salama, how you doing bwana?
Amize, me to be honest, sijakuwa sawa, but niko sawa. It doesn't matter, niko sawa saizi. I'm just struggling, working. You, how are you?
I'm doing good. Si bado ni hustle tu, tunatafuta watu walipi tax.
Hey, maisha yako ni mzuri, we just look for tax. Watu walipi tax, alafu na and boom.
So guys, as long as you have I'm sure most of us guys tuko na bank accounts. Ukifungua bank account tulikuwa naambiwa nini? Need a KRA pin. Unahitaji some other documents. But now also we need to ensure that.
Why are we talking today?
We're talking today because deadline imekaribia. We just have to make sure our people wasikuwe na issues za tax. Na saizi KRA has the mandate to actually freeze your accounts kama uko na issues, payments and liabilities are supposed to pay to KRA. Na wase wengi, you find that wacheni kwanza kwenda cyber kufile returns. Those people don't know how to file returns. They'll put you in problems because, let me give you a practical example. Uko employment si unakatwa doi inafaa kurimitiwa as pay. But sasa umse wa cyber hajui historia, like the personal relief that you're supposed to remit, the expenses that you're supposed to,
expenses
if you are wewe kama wewe ni consultant. Yeah, so you'll find yourself in a situation where they are declaring more than sometimes what they should. So unapata KRA wakiona umesema unalipa X amount, they will follow you because that hiyo tunaitanga self assessment. Umekaa chini ukasema KRA mnachukua mita. Na sisi tunaikujia tu, si hatuna shida, si wewe ndio umeremit. You see?
So this is basically what is the problem over here. We are on the deadline for doing taxes, and we have a lot of tax issues all over. And this problem in a quite prevalent because guys are using guys from the cyber to do their taxes, and that's a problem. Who's most affected na mambo ya taxes in country?
Most people, as long as you have a bank account and you're earning income, lazima go affected na tax. Also companies, but companies now ni wananani individuals. You see, so like for now you just have to ensure that first of all you need to understand that KRA, that they're the major contributors of the revenue for the government. Actually they contribute 60%. You see, kuna taxes mobs zimekuwa introduced. Sasa tuko na resident, kuna non-resident, kuna VAT, kuna withholding.
So basically everyone is taxable as long as you're trying to do something that gains you money.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's crazy. So umesema it's tuko kwa deadline, tuko kwa okay, let's go broad. What are the problems that you can face if you don't do your taxes?
If you don't file your returns, actually the first thing is kuna penalty. And saizi kuna kitu imeintroduciwa penalty plus interest. So imagine unapigwa penalty na bado inakula interest. You see? So first of all, if you don't file your returns, utakula penalty. Second of all, there's a document we call the tax compliance certificate. For people who are looking towards working for the government or the private sector, one of the requirements you need is actually a tax compliance certificate. There's no way you'll be given that if your taxes are not at par.
And what is a tax compliance certificate?
It is a document showing that you've abided by all the regulations and laws as per the Income Tax Act, and you've given the government its dues.
So tax compliance inamaanisha umelipa government pesa.
Yeah.
And is it something that you can get? Is it something that
Yeah, your doctor here can prescribe it.
Daktari ana prescribe. So you're
yeah.
prescribe unakula how many times a day ama a year? Because that's ni a year. Once a year.
Once a year. That one is for the income. Kama wewe ni mse withholding, you have to file it on or before the 20th of the next month. But now tuseme kama saizi nafanya Dero Consulting. So unajua lazima nimkate 5% so that the 25% they remit. It's like a contra entry where like ni kama a sale. Mimi nikikuzia kitu 1 million, mimi nita declare as a sale, you have to declare it as a purchase.
Yeah.
So lazima kuna double entry.
Double entry.
Yeah.
Like isn't your accounts?
Yeah.
God damn. Endelea.
Yeah, so that is like so that is for the withholding. Alafu bado kama wewe una vatable services VAT, pia hiyo lazima ulipe on or before or 20th no file on or before the 20th of the next month. Pia kuna penalty na interest and it is heavy. So you see, like it's so important now that we actually tax savvy. And the problem is a lot of people don't actually understand that. Actually, most of us are actually tax savvy because your employer is supposed to pay for you.
Yeah.
But now you as the employee are supposed to confirm they've paid for you from the system.
From the system.
Yeah.
And that you do it by yourself, ideally.
Yeah.
So would you say someone should know how to use KRA by themselves?
They should, but now, you know, that's our business, so we are not going to tell you everything.
Of course.
So we are here to guide you and just to ensure that we avoid easy issues when you are doing business, you don't have a tax compliance because your taxes are not at par first. Second,
ni ukweli tu hata just to digress kidogo because yes, I can know how to log into KRA ni sawa, but then doing the things the right, doing it is one thing, doing it right is a whole different story. So, katseme even in like softwares for editing and all this shit. I can give you Photoshop right now, but then
doing it right
is a different story. And even me, you give me Photoshop right now compared to you, sir. But then put a dope guy over here, I'm washed, you know.
Yeah. And then another thing you also need to know, there's a lot of changes which has happened now from the Revenue Authority KRA now, like once you make a wrong assessment, tuseme leo umefanya mistake, umeingia KRA ukasema nimemake maybe 500k, yet that is not the position. And this is the situation. A lot of people, they wait, wanangoja deadline inafika, then you are desperate to give people who don't know how to actually file the returns. Then they put you in a situation where, first of all, you're supposed to declare the income you've gotten throughout the year from the P9. Second, a P9 is a document actually given from your employer.
And what is a P9?
A P9 is a document that shows the amount that you've earned as net pesa umekula the whole year, NSSF yenye umekatwa, NHIF yenye umekatwa, the pension that umekatwa, and then they show like what the employer has paid on your behalf. Because I mean, unaweza kuwa unalipwa unasema gross unakula 100, employer anasema anakukata pay lakini they are not remitting. So you know what happens in that situation? It will show on your account that this is the amount you owe KRA. But now you can go to KRA and tell them, huyu employer ananikata hii do. So go back to the employer, they tell them, and they give them actually an agency notice. They tell them, okay, you guys have been given 14 days to actually pay this. If you don't pay, then they close the bank accounts for the company.
Frozen.
So you see how crazy this is. And then another thing people should actually understand is now if you make a wrong assessment, amending the return actually is not as easy as people think. You need approvals. You see, second, you'll have to be told, utaambiwa sasa bring your bank statements. Na maybe kama wewe unafanya other businesses, utapata hey now KRA they're like, oh, wewe unatuambia unakula 100k kumbe unakula mita.
Let's put scenarios basi.
Yeah.
I'm a business person. I'm selling smoky. I'm selling my eyes. I have my trolley. Does that affect me?
It affects you because unless you are just using M-Pesa or the till number, and again there's a new change which is going to come. KRA they're going, though Safaricom they have an undisclosure agreement that they cannot give a third party, like because yourself you are the first party. Second, Safaricom they're the second party because they're the secondary users. They cannot transact on your account, but they can see the transactions. Now they cannot give access to a third person. Like now KRA they wanted access because there are some people they're not trying to put money in their accounts because they're like, okay, my
M-Pesa works.
Yeah, but now
and M-Pesa is enough to keep me going through my life. So
but now like still under discussion, but now in future, actually KRA might have a say also
To
on your,
that. Because they're looking for how to get that now.
Yeah.
They're actually working on it.
yeah, because for personal it might be different, but till numbers, trust me,
Mnakujiwa.
because now many businesses, the people pay
Till
through the
number.
till numbers.
Yeah.
You see,
And career has to know.
KRA has to know. So you just have to ensure, like, this is so sensitive, and it's not so much, it's not a lot of work, but you just have to do it right. Guys, let's just avoid putting our, like, giving people access to accounts who are not tax savvy. You see.
And we're saying giving people access to accounts. What accounts are these? Are these the career accounts?
Yeah, the career accounts. Yeah.
Okay, but tunaenda huko. Your career accounts, I think we'll just have a mini session on that. But niko na swali lingine. Another scenario.
Yeah.
I have a high-end shop in town.
Yeah.
Of course it can affect because I have to pay taxes. I'm working at a job and I'm earning 30k.
Yeah.
Does that affect me?
Yeah, that affects you. Yeah, because actually, for career purposes, the minimum threshold, if you're earning 24k and above, you're subject to pay. So that means, like, at the end of the day, your employer, they have to remit the pay as you earn.
As an employer, if I'm paying anyone more than 24,000, I need to do taxes.
Yeah.
So another scenario. I'm working at a job and I'm getting 150k.
Yeah.
How does this affect me?
For career purposes, what happens is we usually use a prorated scale. So the more you earn, the more you pay.
Okay. I think you're gonna tough to you.
Trust me, there's no way a person who's earning 100k and a person who's earning $1 million will charge your tax the same.
Hakuna.
No way. We use an aggressive tax system because tutakukata pay, tutakukata withholding, tutakukata VAT. Kama wewe uko na ma rentals, tunakukata bado rental. You see? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because we actually need to pay, because now we are the major contributors, for the government. Yeah.
So tuende kwa history accounts. Apparently people are giving unscrupulous people access to their career accounts, and by career account I mean that in Uganda,
the logins. Now you're giving people your career pin and passwords to file for you the returns. Keep in mind, there are so many changes that actually happen. Let me give you a scenario. 2020, during the COVID times, the personal relief was actually increased.
Personal relief.
Yeah, so that one is supposed to cover you, as much as, if you're earning 100k, I'm not sitakukata 30% at now I'm giving you 70k. No. What happens is there's supposed to be a relief that is supposed to cover you, so that as much as we are cutting 30% off, we are still covering, we're putting some add backs. So in this case, you find like if you're earning 100k to pay maybe 87,000, you see, because now of the add back. So what happens is, when somebody doesn't know about the personal relief, and this is the tricky part, when you're filing the returns, like now, if somebody doesn't declare your personal relief, that means utakatwa hiyo 30% fully. Na
ungekuwa umekula 10,000.
You see, and KRA, they'll make sure you pay, because first of all, and the tax compliance certificate is usually valid for a year. So the next year, when you need to maybe apply for a tender, apply for these jobs,
another one,
you cannot be able to get it.
Applying jobs and KRA pins and all this tax compliance, same thing. So an employer wouldn't want to employ someone who's not tax compliant because atamharibia biashara yake.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's even tricky now, like the high-end companies. There are some companies, if you don't have the tax compliance certificate, you cannot be employed, because first of all, this is a company is treated as a different entity, but it is controlled by people. So the people have to be compliant for the company to be compliant.
It's like starting an engineering firm and expecting to have licenses, and there's no engineer in that company. How? You have to have engineers there.
You have to have engineers there.
Okay. How do we file tax returns?
This is the process. First, how to file the tax returns is you have to log into your system. You have to ask for the P9 form. The employer is supposed to give you your P9 form. Then after that, you put the amount that you earn, your net amount. You put the amount of pay that should be deducted, you put your personal relief. Then after that, if you have any other income, you declare it, because there are some people who are, there are people who are consultants. So in this case, we don't charge you 30%, we charge you 5% as withholding, so that the 25% you have to declare.
You have to declare it.
Yeah.
So that by declaring, you mean you're keeping it. That's...
Yeah, now in this case, if I'm supposed to pay you 100K and then I keep 5%, I'll give you 95,000. And me, as your employer now, I have to
pay
remit
that 5,000 to the government.
Yeah, or no, before the 20th of every month, so that at the end of the year, you'll declare, okay, so on your side, you take this as advance tax. So we say, okay, I'm supposed to pay maybe 100K tax, but there's 5K nimekuwa nikikatwa every month. So first of all, deduct that one from there. And for KRA system, the thing is, it's, there's some people who are not aware of, this is what I'm supposed to declare, that this is the amount that, nimekatwa. For KRA, we are not going to prompt you to do it, but if you do it, it's good. But if you don't, that's more money for us. But then also, you don't want to pay so much, because, doesn't make any economic sense
to you.
See.
So you need to know. Kutojua si sababu. It won't work. I didn't know. That's why we have a tax doctor over here. And if you want your business registered, if you need any tax work, just let us know in the comments. Niko na swali lingine tena. Is as a business and as an employee, are the tax rates different, and do you pay them differently? Mbona zingine wanasema you have to do it by the 20th of the next month, and as an employee, do you have to do that? Yeah,
because now what happens is, for tax, sometimes it can be overwhelming, because you don't also want to overburden the taxpayer, because it's easier when you pay monthly than at the end of the day. I'm telling you, and December I can just tell you, okay, assuming I'm supposed to pay 10K every month, it's easier for me to handle that than at the end of the year I'm telling you pay 120K.
Pay 120K.
You see, and then also there are different tax categories. We have income tax for residential and non-residential. So if you're not if you're not Kenyan, your tax rate is different, because you're not charging you 30%, you're charging you 37.5 for individual. Then you have VAT. Now this one, it is tax on sale of goods. But the good thing about VAT now is, as if I'm selling something for 100 and I charge VAT on it, the person who's buying can actually claim. So it's a net off. You see, so now for VAT you have to pay before the 20th of the next month. Late payments, they actually attract 1% of the payable amount. And non-filing, if you file late, you actually attract 10K per month. Now, it's tricky, because now for you, for VAT, you can be charged as a person or as a company. You see, because there are people who are sole proprietors, there are people who are working for companies, there are people who own farms. And in this case, we have to ensure that we remit that, because also the tax compliance, you cannot get it if you have not filed your returns for VAT.
For VAT.
Yeah.
So basically, any other new job you want, Paul.
Yeah.
Trying to register another business, Paul.
And also, there are some clients, high-end clients, that always tell you that you need to have an ETR. An ETR, it's a document, transfer report. Now, the document shows that now you are vatable, and for you, you're willing to pay the VAT. You see, so this gives you, this shows credibility on some of the clients. And people are not trying to trade cash.
Really. Something else. This ETRs, I just mentioned ETRs. All the ETRs in Kenya, KRA have access to them.
Because what happens for an ETR, it's a document, for example, if I'm supposed to charge you something 100 bob and I add VAT, which usually charge 16%, I'll put 116 bob, so that I get the 100 and the 16 I have to pay to KRA.
Okay.
You see?
Okay.
Yeah.
Ndio maana mafuta imepanda.
Mafuta imepanda. Kwanza mafuta, lakini uzuri mafuta, for VAT we also charge 8% for fuel.
Now what's that?
Now that one is every time you use you go to fuel your car, you get the receipt, and if you see the receipt from the petrol station, you'd see uko chini imeandikwa vatable 8%. So that one you're supposed to claim.
So by claiming. So claiming is this at the end of the month you claim your expenses. What are you claiming?
For claiming, okay, assuming now nimenunua kitu 100 bob, si ndio? 100 bob, so VAT hiyo ni 116, si ndio? So for me I'm paying VAT 16 bob.
Yeah.
Aya. Then I go buy something for 50 bob. So for 50 bob now 16% 45, now I get 45, now that one I get 8 bob. So in this case nimeuza kitu, the VAT output is, the sale now is 16 that I'm supposed to pay, but pia mimi nimenunua na 8 bob. So for at the end of the, or before the 20th of the next month, I'll have to do now 16 minus 8. So what 8. I pay to carry is 8. So claim is now the input, is now the purchase, and then for you to declare or to remit, now that's a sale. Yeah.
Basically, everyone is supposed to be doing these things for themselves.
Yeah. But no, the problem is, will you do it rightly?
Me, I just have a question. Umesikia, you've heard this guy talk. Will you be able to do all those tax things by yourself? Because even me, I can't do it by myself. Na namsikiza hapa kila siku. But that's crazy amazing. Twende kwa what else could we talk about? How bad have you ever seen it that someone has been taken through by KRA? Like, deni kubwa sana ushona KRA ni gani?
I have non-disclosure agreement.
Okay. Cut out.
Yeah. So, but I can give you like
what's a case that's not, that you can't disclose and it's just unanimous and maybe just something that's crazy, even you're like, hey.
I figure there's a case where somebody they had to pay KRA around, I'll give a range of 60 to 100 M, and and the thing is the accounts were frozen. First, second, this is a case where now it has to go to the tribunal, and you know cases which go to the tribunal now, it's a different story. Yeah.
And what's the best scenario? Like, what's a good way of just making sure you're okay as an employee? What will be a perfect step to make sure you're having your tax compliance, everything is okay? How will you do it?
The most important thing is to have a tax status check. If you're employed, it's good, like every time, like if you find time, maybe once or twice a month. Also, when you're a consultant, for a consultant, you're supposed to have the withholding certificates. They're usually sent on KRA or maybe on your also on your email. So it's good to just confirm, because like sometimes you might think like your tax is okay, but then when you go to the system, you're like,
it's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. And I'm so sure most of us, actually, I can give you on a scale of 1 to 10, 7 over 10 of most of the employees don't actually understand the fact that they have issues with their tax from prior years, because back then you just go to the cyber, somebody files for you. The cyber guy, they don't know the tax, they're not taking time to actually go through the tax changes.
Because this is why this is important, because you're going to a cyber guy to do your taxes, and doing taxes is finance.
Yeah.
Does your cyber guy know finance? You do know finance?
Yeah.
CPK. Hey, bad man. Ogopa. Anyways, I wanted to ask also something about what services do you offer?
For me, I offer audits, accounting, business advisory, financial reconstruction. I do also tax. Yeah. So someone would have messed up his account kitambo. Yeah.
And then they will come to you, and then you make sure you go through the steps of making sure you fix that previous problem, and so that means you'll even represent them in KRA.
In KRA. Yeah.
Do you represent people in KRA?
I do represent people in companies.
And okay. So if I have a company and I have a tax problem and I've entrusted you to represent me, that means you, Mark Nero, you'll go as my company. Yeah. Tax doctor. Yeah. It does. Among the things it does is, if you want to start a business, setting up your LLC, your sole proprietor, maybe even your kibanda, hizo vitu zote za tax na licenses, just to make sure your stuff is okay. Flow ni yako.
Yeah, and then the people and the thing is, once for people actually business owners, once you have a tax compliance certificate, do you know how much trouble you save yourself? Because there are some people here at sijui kanjo, they'll come to your business at show at kuna pesa unafaa kulipa. No, maybe I have the tax compliance certificate, and if I have to make payments, I've already made to carry, because how else will I have this document? You see?
Wait. So unasema history yote ya kanjo ukiwa na tax compliance certificate, that's it?
Yeah, the only thing they can ask you is maybe
fire,
maybe
business
safety, permits and licenses. That's a whole different story.
Ati?
Permits and licenses depends on the nature of the business. You see, for example, let me give you an example. Assuming today Derek decided, okay, I'm starting a betting farm. Do you know, first of all, you need the documents are crazy. First, you have to clear with BCLB, betting and controlling and licensing board. You have now to have a tax compliance certificate, and you know the rates are not the same because these guys, it's like they're in a cash cow business. They're making their money daily.
So kind of
so
cash cow.
Tukiona hapo tuko like more money for the government. So you see, of course, there are things like also safety. There are things like also like just to show that, you know, I'm not trying to also indulge children in betting.
Yeah.
You see, so depends on the nature of the business. You cannot tell a mama mboga akwenda nini ya BCLB.
Yeah.
So the licenses and permits usually depends on the nature of the business. But for tax purposes, if you already have a tax compliance certificate, you're covered.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah.
Nice. Tumekuwa na session kiasi hapo. Just anything else unaweza dai ku digress on? Umekuwa kiplan kuongelea, maybe you want to sell your business, sell.
Yeah. For me to just make sure tax ukwe check, accounting check. Wase wanapenda ku proposals and tenders and all these, I can do financial statements for you, of course at a cost.
At a cost.
Yeah. Also,
nice.
I'm not just that accounting tax, you know, finance guy. I'm also a chess player. So what when you unapenda chess, just know you are looking at a champion. You can do your research.
Chess champion. Tough Mark Nyairo chess.
Yeah.
Ogopa.
These are the role now. Pierre, we've been childhood friends. Actually, tumejuana more than 2 decades.
20 years.
20 plus, imagine. But you know, crazy. Life it's brought us here, and now we are growing older and better.
Yeah. Nice. Anything else? Nataka kufikiria kitu ya kuweka kuongeza huko ndani. Hiyo imekuwa about 30 minutes of
30 minutes.
Yeah. That's you feeling like you want to add anything?
No.
Exhaust.
Exhaust.
Ama nini imekusumbua hii wiki? Umeona msee amefanya ama shitu ya tax. What will they say to sell the let's do taxes for you?
For me, my selling point is usually one. For people I've interacted with, like most of them, I'm actually result oriented, because I just make sure that your tax on check. My rates speak for itself. Some people say it's high, some people say it's low. But for me, when you're unakuja ndo tuta charge. Lakini mine is not so high. It's just also, I mean, you have to put value for your business.
Value for your business.
Because you're not trying to pay somebody 500 to pay to fight.
So I wanna mention rates. Mention kitu ya rates. I had something to say. God damn. And yes, look what I'm recording in a while. But so you do if so we're heading to the deadline currently. Tunaingia June. Yeah. So we have the taxpayers who need to
actually file their returns. And the problem is, like, you'll notice the first and the second, probably the third week also of June, how many people are trying to file their returns. The system is so
clogged.
Like it's so busy to the point of now, like, if you try filing your returns the last 2 weeks or maybe the last week of June, you may be surprised the system just logs you out. It logs you out. It logs you out, yeah. Yeah. So it's safe now. We just do it early. Probably this week, maybe the first week of June, Kenda Sana, maybe the second, so that if you have any payables that you're supposed to remit, if you have any issues, and please, when you're filing your returns, make sure you confirm that your employer has actually remitted the returns, because naweza kuwa na kukata do. What guarantee do you have I'm paying?
Actually, yeah, what guarantee do you have I'm paying?
Guarantee do you have? And you know, the personal relief now changed. So that means you're even covered more. But now if you don't declare it in a payable situation, and KRA, let me tell you, once KRA, assuming now you're supposed to pay KRA 100k, but now say, okay, you amend the returns, you say now I'm paying them 120k, that one is approved automatically.
Automatic approval.
Automatically.
20,000.
100, you say no, I'm sorry, I'm
80.
supposed to pay 80. Bro.
Decline kidogo.
Approval. You'll be shown now, come to the station.
Can we confirm these things?
Yeah. So, and for KRA, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is not bliss, because they're saying, okay, tulipe ushuru, and if you have issues with filing the returns, you could as well as wanasema wende to your tax station. People don't even know their taxation.
So we have tax stations?
Yeah, we have tax stations. We have north of Nairobi, west, south, and east. So for north of Nairobi, now this one is Times Tower. Then we have now for south and west, now that one is Mombasa Road, Samia Business Park. Then now we have, now for east, now we have Upper Hill. But now, will you find the time? First. Second, going there, you know, sometimes you'll find the queue is heavy.
You don't know even anyone who ndani.
Yeah, and you know that, and I mean, like, assuming now I'm there personally and I'm supposed to serve 100 people, do you think I'm going to be there in just, I mean, if you're not tax compliant, you're not, go pay.
Go pay.
I'll deal with the next person. But now it's easier when you just, you know, you consult most of us, because now you know people.
You do that, you do all that, yani. So you'll even file the returns, you just do that. So even you can file returns for employed people. Yeah,
I actually file returns for employed people and companies. But for companies, we have to audit you fast. Because now, you see, I'm putting now a practicing certificate number there.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that you made 10 million and you made 100.
That's looking bad on him.
That looks bad on me. And you know, for us, like, we lose our practicing certificates, and now
if you lose your practicing certificate, your business is done.
You cannot practice for 10 years. And if you don't practice for 10 years, you're out.
You're out of the game.
Yeah. And secondly, now for us, we are not given bail or bonds as we serve time. For fraud.
For fraud, yours is time.
Yeah, us is time.
And yours, there's nothing like bad work. It's just either fraud or not.
Yeah, and us we usually give either relative or absolute assurance. Absolute, I'll not talk about it because also of auditors are not supposed to share a lot.
Yeah. So as you've heard, tunaingia deadlines, and then we're gonna be needed to do our returns. Reach out. Mark will do that for you. Employed, industry, in the game business, just do it. I have another question. To see what we're online, how does it affect us? How does it affect us?
Online, actually, at the start of the year, there's a tax which is introduced called digital service tax. So amendments were made on it, assuming now I have a platform that I'm selling goods on. So I'm supposed to pay 1.5%
to the
that's now to the revenue authority. That's DST and also VAT. So it's risky because, first of all, you know, now, like me as a career agent, what I can do, I just go online and okay, there's so much traffic on these sites and they're selling a lot. All I need is just to get your business name, put it on the system, and niangalie, are you paying your tax really?
Are you really paying taxes?
Yeah. And then also, like for online, what they do, I mean, whatever payment mode you use, at the end of the day, these amounts, they still hit the bank. You see, now most clients actually pay you through the bank or through the M-Pesa. Remember, your KRA pin is attached to the bank. Yeah. So whether you like it or not, we'll be able to see. So
you can't be coy about all this. You just have to do.
Hata content creators, tunawaona.
Content creators. That's crazy. Just on a footnote, this video has been sponsored by Cloud.shop. Okidahi microphone. It goes for 2,500 bob. The dual head lapel microphone.
Now this guy is a crazy entrepreneur. Akona everything.
But
anything you need, just holla.
And you know, tax compliant. Why? Because the tax doctor got me. Anyways, you guys, that was just a brief session that we had with Mr. Tax Doctor over here. We're gonna try have more sessions as well, and yeah, if this was helpful to you, let me know. If you have any questions as well, let me and him know. Muulize maswali. However crazy that question is, just ask. Taxes, kama unafaa ulipe tax ya 50 bob, 100 bob, uliza, atasaidia. And then just to close this thing off, how do we close this thing off? Napendanga vya video zangu ni random, but we just do these things. Yeah. So yeah, we close this off. Mr. Mark, asante sana for the session.
Shukuru manze. Cloud Shop here. Na mimi hapa Mark Nyairo. Appreciate.
Chess, if you want to do chess as well. Actually, I thought pange a whole, we can do a whole chess affiliate marketing business, you guys.
Yeah.
Just selling chess products, just talking about chess. But anyways, so that's what's kipao.
Mark Nyairo.